Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. We've made it to the end of the week. Very nice to be back with you. Something a little bit different today. Yeah, I'm in a different part of the house and I've got a really special guest. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm going to be doing some home crafty stuff. Yeah, with none other than Annie Sloan. Yeah, really. So really, really exciting. Hi there. Hi, Annie. Hi, Alison. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Bev. Hi, Donna. So many. Wow, Lisa. Oh, thanks. You like the dress? I'll tell you about it in just a sec. Let's get our friends on Facebook. I don't want to keep anybody waiting. Oh, turn over my chair. Hello, Facebook. How is everybody today? Happy Feel Good Friday. Bit of a fashion Friday, I should say, because this is kind of a really sunny Easter dress. I got it for Easter weekend and I thought I'd wear it today because it would be really cheery. It's by the British brand Oliver Bonas or Bonas. I never know. Do you say Bonas or Bonas? Anyway, I'm sure Martha, who's looking after Facebook today, can pop a link up if you would like to see it. I've got the same dress actually in like a tealy blue. Really like it. It's kind of just easy to wear. Just throw it on. I thought, how cheerful. How cheerful. Obviously, we can't do links for Instagram. I've popped it in my link tree if you want to go and check out links afterwards. Anyway, I was just saying to our friends on Instagram here that I'm really so pleased today to have such a special guest in the house. I'm going to be chatting live with Annie Sloan. Now, you may have heard all about Annie and her amazing paints. And we're going to be talking upcycling and just getting crafty, getting creative. And if you have seen my current issue of the magazine, you'll be familiar with this. Look at this lovely yellowy theme going on here. So if you've got your current issue, turn to page 101 and you will see a really lovely article put together with Annie and her team, all about how to do different types of painting. Here she's talking about garden chair, upcycling, tile painting. I mean, who knew, that you can paint ordinary tiles to get the most incredible effect? And it's just genius, actually. This whole article is called Reuse and Renew. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. It says, give old pieces of furniture or faded decor a new lease of life with thrifty and creative chalk paint upcycling projects from Annie Sloan. How brilliant is that? Honestly, it's just such a fun thing. I don't know, maybe it's this time of year when everything just seems to be getting a bit brighter, to think about refreshing things. And I do love a bit of an upcycle, I have to say. And you know Lily, if you follow Lily, my eldest daughter on Instagram, she's very thrifty. Her entire wardrobe virtually comes from charity shops and vintage finds and all of that. And her home is absolutely brilliant. It's filled with all sorts of things that she's upcycled and remade and, fished out of skips and given a whole new lease of life. It's just brilliant. And I love the way that it's become not the kind of, when I was growing up, it was all sort of looked down on as, oh, that's a bit second-hand, it wasn't really good. Whereas now, certainly I think the younger generation are thinking, this is really good, this is really eco, it's all about reusing and recycling and reducing waste and all of those things. So let's see if we have got Annie in the house. I am going to click onto my requests. Annie Sloan home. Here we go. Fingers crossed that will work. Apologies, Facebook, you won't be able to see Annie, but I'm going to demo all the things that she talks about. So hopefully I will be, well, I don't know, not as anywhere near as good as her, but I'll be able to talk through some of it as well. So,
hello.
Hello, Annie. How are you?
Hello. How lovely to be here.
Oh, so kind of you to join us today. Where are you talking to us from?
I'm in Oxford. This is in my kitchen, as most people seem to spend most of their time in their kitchen these days. So I'm in my kitchen and I've got my paints out and I've got a studio up in my garden room. And I've also got the warehouse where I make my paint, and that's another part of Oxford, about 3 miles away. But today I'm here in my studio.
Now tell us about your journey, because you invented chalk paint, didn't you? I mean, what is chalk paint and why is it so different and so fabulous when it comes to upcycling?
So what I did 31 or maybe even 32 years ago now, it's coming up, 31 years ago, I was a painter. I'm a painter by an artist. I was trained as a painter, but I didn't feel quite so happy just as a fine artist. What I was keen to do was get into something which was more about homemaking and what normal people would have done. You know, back in the day, in the 18th century, in your farmhouse, what did you want to do? You'd want to decorate your furniture, your wooden furniture. And that's what people did all over the world. And I thought, what did they use? And I began to sort of get into that. So I came up with a paint that was easy to do things with. So you could use it for watercolor, you could do it thickly, you could do it thinly, you could do it all sorts of different ways, textured, smooth, flat. It would be water-based, it would be quick drying so that you can do it. I had 3 children under 10 at the time, and I needed something that you could wash your brushes out quickly, you could paint in the morning, take the kids to school, paint all day, finish it all off, and put it back, the piece of furniture, and you were done. And the kids wouldn't even know you painted. So that was my plan, and that's what it's always been about, really, about mixing your life. It's a sort of holistic thing. So, you know, you're not, you get it.
And you're going to talk me through doing something really simple, aren't you? So I've been busy this morning, I have to say.
Oh, I've got
this jug.
Well done.
Which is a really nice old jug. And I've been busy this morning painting it. So I've been beavering away, just doing half with this really lovely colour. This is a really nice shade, because I have to say that in your kits, you get all sorts of things. You get brushes, you get sanding pads. Not really too sure what to do with those. You're going to have to talk to me about those.
You won't need to use those, possibly. I don't know. It depends. We gave you lots so you could go off and do other things later.
Fabulous, because there's also chalk paint wax. So this is the colour that I'm using. It's called Emile.
That's the colour you chose.
Absolutely, I love it. I mean, it's a really lovely sort of purpley, lavender colour. Love that colour. I
wished I'd chosen to give you some cream as well, because that would have gone with your lovely dress.
But thank you. Well, I've got some old white.
Yes.
And I've got Chateau Grey. I mean, all these lovely sort of Frenchy colours, French linen. There you go, absolutely.
I wasn't sure what your style was. So we've got colours that will go with all sorts. So I had a feeling you'd be quite muted, but you know, an Emile is quite a strong colour, although not madly strong. But I just wanted to give you some colours that didn't sort of fight it and let the Emile sort of.
Oh, can I just stop you there 1 second, Annie? I've just seen the very sad news that Prince Philip has died.
Yes, I wasn't going to mention it.
Yeah, I've been busy doing all my painting this morning. I'm very sorry. We definitely need to pay our respects to Prince Philip. The Queen will be absolutely lost without him.
Yes.
So sad. And it wasn't long since he came out of hospital. He came out of hospital, about a week ago?
Yes. He would have been 100 in June.
Gosh, 100.
I know. Amazing. I know that because he's a fellow Gemini. I'm in June, birthday as well. So I've always sort of thought, hi Philip.
Yeah.
It's very sad news.
Very, very sad news. He died peacefully in his sleep, apparently. Well, that is a blessing. Very, very sad. Well, hopefully we can brighten the sad news with a little bit of joy here instead. So thank you very much for letting me know that, everybody on my
yes, I wasn't going to bring it up in case I didn't. Well,
gosh, I've been so busy painting this morning. It must have only just happened actually, because
I only just saw it before I came on. So it was a bit of a shame. Very, very sad.
Yeah.
So we're going to do something which will hopefully bring you a little bit of joy anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about joy.
Let's talk about joy. Joy is the best thing. So joy. So I've chosen you a fairly muted palette, considering you've got Emile as your background. So that's your main thing. Just to say that the paint, one of the things I chose the paint for was that I made the paint to do was to be painted on everything. So you paint everything. Okay. And so that's what I think is very exciting. People just think it's for wood, but actually you could do, it could be a plastic pot, a plastic vase. You could paint that. It doesn't matter. So this was mine. I've only got a little bit left here.
Look
I
at
got
that.
carried away. Yours is a white one. Mine was a very heavy brown one. And
Okay.
not, like a normal sort of terracotta. And I thought it looked a bit dull. So,
I love all the brushes that come with it.
yes, good.
I love it. And the whole kit, you can't actually see here. I can't move my cameras down, but it comes with a mat and everything so that everything is completely kind of protected. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to protect my dress, actually.
Okay, yes, you should.
Put my...
The paint does wash out, but of course...
Oh, does it? Oh, that's good to know.
Well, it does, but sometimes you haven't got any reds. Reds do stain a bit.
Okay.
Those colours would come out.
Yeah.
So you're going to paint your pot. So you can paint directly on... Did you find you had 1 or 2 coats?
I've used 2 coats, actually, on this.
Yeah, that would be about right. You sort of cover it mainly with 1, and then you think, oh, I've missed a bit. So what sort of design are you going to do on it? So I've got 3 jugs. I'm making you work, actually, Liz. I've got 3 jugs to show you.
Okay.
I've got this one, which is an old, this isn't a painted one. This is just a rather beautiful. I love it.
Oh my goodness. So it's got all sorts of lovely swirly patterns.
That's quite swirly. That's quite creative. And I don't get the feeling that that would be your sort of thing, but it may be that sort of thing for somebody.
Yeah.
There's
quite contemporary.
This one, which is another, I love this. It's one of my favourite jugs. I have to say, I have a thing about jugs.
Okay. Oh, now that is very nice. That's almost very sort of Grecian. Everybody on Facebook, you're going to have to hop over to Instagram to have a look. It's got these lovely sort of wiggly lines. Even I could manage that, I think, to be honest.
And then I've got this one, which is a new one, which I think is incredibly smart. I love that.
So that's really nice. Parallel lines just drawn all the way down.
Yes, slightly wobbly. I'll come up close so you can see. This I got from Heels. And it's a modern one. It's very beautiful.
That is very striking.
So the stripes are small, thin.
Okay, so I've got a little brush here, a little thin brush. So I could use
the tiny
like an eyeliner brush. I'm more used to using an eyeliner brush, I have to say, Annie, than using these. But hopefully I've got a steady hand.
Yeah, the little thin one. So I thought, is this the one you'd like to do? Because that is what I thought you would love.
Really? Fabulous. Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, great minds and all that.
Yeah, well, I think this is incredibly elegant. Obviously, you're very elegant. So therefore...
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you. I don't know about that, but...
So, I've already done, this is another thing that I did, and this has been chosen before, and I did this. So mine was Louis Blue. Mine's a bit wobbly, actually, because I was doing it online and I was showing people. So that's the sort of thing. So you've done little sort of dots.
I quite like that dotty idea.
Yeah, good. I love that.
I'm getting some questions here. Can we use this on outdoor pots, Annie?
Yes, you can. Yes, you definitely can. We have an outdoor varnish as well. Varnish can use outdoors. So I did this already for you.
Oh, so you've done little sort of splodges. I quite like that. What colour should I use, do you think, over my Emile?
I think the old white.
The old white, okay.
Yes. And then I think if we want to, we can use a little bit of the Enfleur, perhaps just in parts. So that's the Enfleur there.
Enfleur, so old white is we do have a Liz Loves, by the way. You probably spotted that in the magazine where you get 15% off all of Annie's lovely things. If this inspires you. I was looking at your Instagram as well, Annie. You've got an amazing Instagram.
Oh, thank you.
So many good things. No, so many good things going on it.
I've got a great team. So that's the sort of thing you could do. The 2 whites and then those little dots down the middle. That's in Enfleur. Or you could take the Chateau Grey and you could do larger blobs with the other square.
Oh, okay. And so what should I start with? Should I start with the what's this one? This is the white one, I think.
Old white.
Old white. Yeah.
Yes. Start with old white. So you'll be using from here the little pointy one, which is that, And
The
then
little pointy
possibly,
one.
if you wanted to, the smaller squared one. But don't, first of all, I'm going ahead of myself, Liz.
Okay.
Start with, and I'll take photographs of these afterwards so people can see what I did.
Good. You can check that out.
Good thinking, hey?
Okay, very good thinking. So I've got some old white on my brush. I'm very nervous about doing this, especially doing it live in front of you, Annie.
Can I tell you the great thing about it all? If you hate it, you can paint over it.
You can paint over it. Phew.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that.
No problem. So, little dots.
Shall I start at the top and just dot it on?
Yes, I would. I tell you what I do. If I'm going to do like, oh, how can I do that? Can you see? So I've got it there. I would go, I'm doing this without being able to see properly. A dot there, and then just sort of draw your line up and go, that's a dot there, because that's a sort of straight line.
Ah, okay.
Then,
so a dot at either end, and then you join them together.
And then do one in the middle.
Oh, okay. Oh, like that. Otherwise, you can kind of suddenly find out that you ended up over there.
Exactly. Right, and then you can do another one in the middle.
I'm going in.
And keep going.
Right, I've done my first dot. First dot is on the jug, and then I'm going down here to the bottom.
Yeah.
And then again in the middle.
Yes.
Okay.
And then keep going in the middle. I think it's how you do curtains. You know, when you're putting the...
Yes, I've got my 3 dots on, and then I can join them up.
Exactly. Or you can keep drawing in the middle.
So that's just, okay, so I see, keep going middle, middle.
Yes.
Middle, middle, like that.
Yes.
That's how you get the straight line.
How you get a straight line.
Okay.
And of course, it won't be perfectly straight, but that's what you want.
That's the artisan bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
so when you look at that, it's not completely straight. If it was completely straight, it would look machine made and a bit dull. Yeah. And that's the glory of that. That's why it looks a little handmade and gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think I should do another line of those then?
I would. I mean, you can either do it like that, which is 2 lines and then 2 lines, or you could just do what I did.
I quite like the idea of 2 lines and then 2 lines. Would you match the dots then?
Yeah.
Would I put another one here?
Yes, but don't get too sort of anal about it. It doesn't matter if they're not exactly the same, but sort of, yes.
Okay.
And
I have to say it's very therapeutic.
Oh, do you know, you took the words out of my mouth. I was exactly going to say the same thing.
I can really see this being very calming in difficult times.
So over lockdown, that's what people have found. They're painting, they're loving it, and it's been their sort of salvation, their escape.
Yeah, totally.
You know, mental health and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've painted a lot, and I did find myself probably in about, I can't remember, was it February or March or sometime, and it all got a bit desperate. And I forgot to paint, and I did get sort of a bit crazy. I can imagine. Wondering what the hell is happening. That's looking gorgeous. Did you think?
Well, I'm quite amazed actually that something so simple can look, quite so professional and stylish. Thank you for your guidance. I would not have been able to do that without you, Annie. Well, how else am I going to add to this? How can I add in another colour, do you think?
Well, what I would do is possibly a longer line in a different colour. So either take the En Fleur, which I think looks very beautiful. I think that brown would look really smart.
That's En Fleur. Let's try.
So that's what I've got there. I wonder
do you literally make all these paints yourself, Annie?
Yes, yeah. I don't mix. I mean, yes, they're in our factory. I made the colours. Each colour is specially made. It's made to my own recipe because I know what I want in there. Yeah. You know.
So should I just wipe this?
Yes, you could wipe it. You could use the same brush again, or wash it through. So that's what I've done. Can everyone see that?
I see. So you've put, yeah, so I'm going to do a slightly longer line.
Yes.
I'm going to try and copy Annie so that the guys on Facebook can see.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody who can't see what I'm doing, but I think Liz is doing a great job.
Oh, no pressure.
No pressure, no pressure.
Seriously.
I think my message to people who think they can't paint, like, oh, I can't do that, find something online like these jugs and these bits of ceramics, and take something really simple, and don't try doing, I don't know, fancy things. You know, don't try drawing trees or people.
Yes,
or
I think
like
that's
that.
what I was afraid of, that you'd try and, get me to do something that would just look really stupid.
No. Well,
I can't really paint.
Yeah.
But I mean, everybody can splodge, can't we? We can all,
Exactly.
we can all do dots.
Yes. Well, we all doodle, don't we?
Yeah.
At least I do, anyway.
So that's gone a bit skew with, I have to say.
Well, if you really don't like it, because it's quite difficult for you, I wouldn't worry about it. I would see the bigger picture.
Okay.
So what I would do is do
picture.
everything, and then at the end, you might go, actually, that splodge isn't very nice. You can go over it with their meal and do it again.
And repaint it. Yeah, that one is, I think that one will annoy me because it's just out of line.
Yeah.
So
but sometimes in the bigger picture, it's actually the bit that makes you go, oh, I like that.
Yes. Gosh, it dries really quickly, actually.
Yes, it does.
Really quickly. And then once you've done your jug or your chair or anything, I mean, I'm definitely going to be having a busy weekend. Do you seal it with anything?
I would just lacquer it. Either lacquer it or wax it. I think we said you wax. I love wax.
Mm-hmm.
So you just get your cloth. Wait till it's completely dry. We can't do it right now. Get a cloth and just wipe over it. Or we do have a special brush, but you don't need that, especially if it's a small thing like this. So I would just take a scoop of wax and rub it in, as I say, quite gently, because you don't want to rub so hard. You don't need to, just sort of smear it on. It's a bit like rubbing something, actually a face cream. You don't brush it, rub it in madly. You sort of smooth it over. It's the same thing. So you smooth it all over. Don't get globs of it. You don't need much. I mean, it's so like hand cream and face cream. And then let it dry. Now, when it's dried, it should dry almost immediately. It should absorb into the paint. And then you should, if you want it to be matte, leave it. If you want it to be shiny, leave it the next day, and then you can polish it, and it should get a lovely, gentle shine. Really?
Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
So this will shine up, because at the moment this is quite matte and quite chalky.
Completely matte, yes. That's part of the reason of why it sticks to anything, from metal to plastic to stone, anything.
And so glass, I see there's a couple of questions about glass. Can you paint glass bottles?
Yep. Glass bottles, but glass bottles, because they're very shiny, you might find you need to do 2 coats, let it dry really well. And again, when you're putting the wax on, make certain that you don't rub, because, it's got a tenuous connection to begin with. Over time, my paint dries harder and harder.
Does it?
And
then what about things, can I just, while I've got you here, Annie, in the magazine, you talked about painting tiles. So if we've got tiles that are already stuck to the wall, could you update them by painting them?
You can. It's not going to probably last forever and a day, but then this is when, especially when you don't have the money, and getting new tiles and taking the old one out.
Taking the old ones off and all of that. I mean, hugely expensive.
Yes. So just paint over it and then lacquer them afterwards, and then you are absolutely fantastic. It's just gorgeous.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that is so exciting. And here you've painted some garden furniture, garden table and chairs. Hopefully we're all going to be eating with our friends outside a bit more now. Yes. So you could just use any old, you can get really cheap, plastic garden furniture and make it look amazing.
I think actually, I will say, the cheaper the plastic, the less it likes, because plastic is actually made of oil. And so it can be a bit
Right.
oily if it's very cheap. So the more expensive it is, the matter it is, and the better it is. So that's just one warning. I'm afraid your really cheap pieces won't paint, sadly. But I mean,
Okay.
God, yeah, but you can paint it and then you lacquer it.
Yeah.
And it's all UV protected, the lacquer, so it won't fade.
Right. UVPC. I've just
No,
sort of did a comment.
UV, ultraviolet.
UPVC.
No, UV, ultraviolet protected.
It's protected. Will it paint on UPVC?
Oh, UV. Oh, sorry, I misunderstood.
My fault.
There is some that it does and some that it doesn't, but it seems to
Right.
usually. This is one of the things that I say, yes, it can, and then someone writes and goes, well, I tried it and it didn't work. And I think, well, I don't know why. But obviously there must be different types of UVPC.
Yeah, yeah. So you could get a little pot and just try it out, couldn't you, if you wanted?
Yeah.
You're not going to miss
out.
out.
I mean, actually, in here, I think it might be UVPC, and it's fine. Up above here.
And metal, you say as well, metal, glass, plastic.
Yeah, wood,
terracotta,
marble, stone. I don't know what else there is. Fabric. You can even paint fabric.
Fabric?
Yes. That's another story altogether.
Okay, let's do that another time, because that sounds amazing. I'm getting all sorts of ideas now for kind of tents and outdoor things, but I guess you could do just so much, couldn't you? Shoes, fabric shoes.
Oh, shoes, fabric shoes, and oh yes, fabric shoes, lovely, and plimsolls and things. That's a really old word, isn't it? And my leather shoes, my leather boots, when they got very old and horrible, I painted them bright green, and they were just wonderful.
I can just imagine you wearing them, Annie. That is just amazing. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Absolute pleasure, Liz. Thank you very much for having me. It's
and thank you. I really enjoyed. I reread your article actually in my magazine, and it's just got so much good information. And we're so grateful for the discount.
Thank you very much indeed.
So thank you. I hope that you'll be back with us, perhaps on a slightly happier day too. So
yes.
Thank you. Thank you for
very
today.
Bye-bye.
I think you have to click goodbye, otherwise I switch everybody
I will.
off.
Don't worry, I'm going to stand up and do that. Okay.
Thank you, Annie. Bye-bye. Oh, wasn't that so great? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to load that video onto YouTube. So if you're watching it later on YouTube, that's why you've got this format. I know that we try and do the YouTube format, which is same as Facebook, which is that way. But this time we are going to load the vertical version so that as many people as possible can see Annie. And I'm sorry that we were a little bit thrown by that news, and sincere sympathies to, well, the nation, Prince Philip, but especially to the Queen. Just absolutely, really, really sad. I'm sure there's going to be lots of commemorations and happy memories of such an extraordinary life, well lived. I know my children have actually done Duke of Edinburgh awards over the years at school, which have been amazing, an incredible legacy. And in fact, I was asked once to St James's Palace to help give out some of the awards, some of the gold awards, which was a real privilege. So yeah, very many happy memories. And as I say, a great legacy. So moving on today, I think that is kind of just about it really. What else have I got to say? Oh, I tell you what I have got. A couple of things just to say, a lot of questions coming up I see on the magazine. This article with Annie Sloan is in the current issue, okay? So if you've got the current one, it's March and April. We do have a few of these left. We always hold back just a small number. So if you have yet to subscribe and you'd like to start your subscription with this one, then you just go online and you subscribe, and it gives you the choice of when you want to start your subscription. So you can put there March, April, if this is the one that you want to get. Or if you've already got it or somebody's given it to you or whatever, then you can start with the next one, which will be May, June, which we're putting the finishing touches to at the moment. It's looking really beautiful. It's got a different theme, so I hope you love it. We've really planned it to think about, you know, new beginnings and fresh starts and all of that as we, you know, hopefully come out into the great outdoors and make the most of the warmer weather. So talking about other things creative, I do still have a few of my yearbooks. So these are the ones that I'm signing down here. And just to say that we do have craft ideas in the yearbooks. So they're mostly food and recipes, those of you that haven't seen it. But there are also, because, you know, well-being encompasses so many things, doesn't it? So there's a bit about beauty, there's a bit about skincare. But here, for example, we've got some garden craft things that you can do, that you can make with the family. You know, I just think it's, you know, it's all about that well-being, isn't it? It's about not only respecting the planet by reusing and reducing and recycling and all of that, but it actually is incredibly therapeutic. I mean, I was really just quite calmed, you know, despite difficult news. I was quite calmed by the fact that I was placing little dots on a jug. And I have to say, mightily relieved that I didn't have to kind of paint a whole Monet canvas, because, you know, here we go. Let me show you my dots, because they are now drying nicely. I think I shall have to finish that and pop it on my Instagram stories. That will give me a little bit of therapy, a little bit of mindfulness for later on in the day. And as Annie said, we do have 15% off on her website, off everything. Just use Liz Loves in capitals, all one word. You know the drill. But yeah, these were some clever ideas, actually, if you're thinking about entertaining outside, gathering with some friends. Just ideas that you can dress a table with, really simple things, using ribbons, for example. This is one of my all-time favorites. Look at this. You know, if you're serving pineapple, got a fresh pineapple, don't, whatever you do, throw the pineapple away, because you can hollow it out and use it as a vase. And then actually, here are some more of the paints. So this was a little piece that we did here for the yearbook, which is about painting glasses. So you can paint initials on glasses, you know, particularly if you've got people round, you know, you're always putting, maybe you've got a wine glass and a water glass or something, and thinking, oh, which one is this? And of course, if you painted somebody's initial on it, and then you could paint over it, or you could paint it all one colour, or you could just do certain colours and say, well, yours is the pink one, the one with the little, you know, pink flower on it, or the pink dot on it, or whatever. Really nice. I mean, you can just, there's no end, now that we know about Annie and her paints, there's no end, is there, to the certain things that we can do. I'm just having a look here at seeing some of the other, gosh, so many delicious recipes. It's making me quite hungry, actually, reading through it. But yeah, this is another thing that you can do with the paints. This is obviously for a bit later in the year, but I guess you could apply the same thing now. This is something that we did for Halloween. This is seasonal painted pumpkins. I'm really not a fan of kind of ghoulish pumpkins, but to be able to decorate, you know, to use gourds and all those things that you can bring indoors and paint, maybe sprinkle a little bit of glitter on. Amazing. Lots of different things. I shall certainly be getting creative. Anyway, I do have some of these. This is the Liz Wellbeing Yearbook 2. I sign them here. I send them out from the farm. And at the moment, you get the free notebooks with it. So these are a little pack of 3 notebooks. And you can buy those separately if you want, by the way. They are £7.50 for a pack of 3. And they've got lovely words on. So this one says, and breathe. Really important. That's what my painting is going to let me do later on today. This one, very important. This is for our community here. Positive vibes only. Yeah, that's what we say, isn't it? Positive vibes. It's enough negativity out there, trust me, without bringing it into this space. And this one, live, love, laugh. That's quite a good one too, I think. So I use these. I've got one in the kitchen for my grocery list. I've got one beside my bed for my kind of gratitude notes and my things that I need to think about. Then I've got one in my bag, just as my kind of daily to-do list. So let me just check on here, make sure that there are no burning questions that I need to answer. Gosh, lots of chat about kefir. That was from the other day. Yes, so yeah, this is, you've caught a glimpse of my Neroli. So the Neroli necklace is on offer at the moment, but I think it's coming off offer very soon. Let me just check, because that was also in the magazine. Yeah, there we go. That's also in the magazine, because there is a £45 saving at the moment. So yeah, you could just go to Liz Earle Jewellery if you want to snap one of these up. That comes off, I think, at the end of the month. And this is the yellow gold, because I'm wearing yellow, but it also has, I've got one in rose gold, which is slightly pinker, which I love too. Really do love that one. And again, it's the symbol of love and friendship and femininity and all of those nice things. Subscription gift, yes, we do still have some subscription gifts, but that again is going really quickly. So if you are taking out your subscription to the magazine, at the moment, while stocks last, there is the Angela Langford full-size body wash. It's called Dream a Little Dream, and it is quite dreamy. The smell is delicious. Lovely British female founder brand. Really nice to support in these difficult times. These small independent brands, often run by women, producing lovely things. So thank you very much, Angela, and your team for giving us that lovely gift. And we really do appreciate it. And yes, last but not least, what you can put inside your jug. Just to say, there's another British brand that I love, which I've mentioned before, and I just wanted to show these off again, actually, just for a bit of cheeriness, I guess, for the weekend ahead. This beautiful bouquet is from Ochre, which I share with you, and they are actually silk. They are fake flowers, and so you just clean them by giving them a shake and run them under the tap every now and then to get the dust off. But I just love the way they put these together. There's spring lilac, there's peonies, which we'll be getting, well, in a little while, some pussy willow and some hops. But so realistic and so lifelike, even the foliage. And I just love them. They just make me feel smiley and cheerful when I enter a room. You know, I love to have some fresh flowers, but, you know, they are expensive to buy fresh all the time. And if there's not much growing outside, you know, to be able to have those, I'm not sure maybe put those, will they fit in my jug? Yeah, I think they will fit rather beautifully in my jug. I need to finish painting it, obviously. But yeah, quite jolly. And yeah, we do have a Liz Loves. So that's on everything at Ochre. If you don't know it, it's a lovely British home brand. They've got all sorts of things. I mean, you can do your entire house with Ochre, O-K-A. I think there's a 10% off Liz Loves. Yes, I think that's right. Is that Ochre? Yeah. Liz Loves on Ochre. So there we are. A few little questions. Can you make kefir overnight? Asks Victoria on Facebook. Yes. Did you not watch my demo? Yes, kefir overnight. In fact, that's a really good time to make it. You can either get the grains, which I showed you, which look a bit like cottage cheese, and you can get those from Freshly Fermented, another British brand I talked about. They're in the Good Gut box as well, if you want to get the whole set of ferments. Those are my favourite ones, particularly. So you'd make those, and then depends really on the warmth of the room. If it's keep them in a really nice warm kitchen, for example, they will probably have fermented overnight. Might take a little bit longer. Might take maybe 24 hours rather than 12 or 16 hours. But the one thing that I do is I use the Nourish sachets, and this is powdered, freeze-dried powdered kefir. And I think I answered a question actually on Instagram comments yesterday about how to get started with kefir. And to be honest, the grains can be a bit challenging sometimes. They're a bit scary. You think, well, what do I do with these? How are they going to ferment? And I'm not really too sure about it. So I would always suggest start by trying a bit of kefir. Just buy some from the shop. Most supermarkets these days sell commercial kefir. And then get some of the Nourish powders, because you simply mix the powder with milk. That's it. You don't have to worry about treating your grains or draining them or saving some for next time or any of that. It's simply one shot. You sprinkle the powder into your milk, give it a good stir, leave it overnight. I just put a cloth over mine, and in the morning come down and I've got freshly made kefir. Really, really good. I really like it. And I love Nourish Kefir. Again, it's another female founder-led brand, British brand, small, independent, doing things properly and well, which is always ticking all the boxes here, especially if it is part of Liz Loves. And they've given us a Liz Loves discount, so that's even better. Anyway, I think I'm going to go now. Thank you very much indeed for all your lovely comments. Very nice to have you with me today. And I will be back later on. Actually, yes, the powders are as effective. Grace is just asking there. Yeah, I think they're very good, especially the Nourish ones. I don't know if anybody else does powders, but they have very, very good quality grains, and they freeze dry their own grains. So you know that they're good. They're good. The only downside of the powders is that you just use them once and that's it. Whereas with the grains, you can obviously keep them going for longer. but they're a very good way to start, and I think they taste really good too. So today being Friday, just a few last notices before I go. The Friday 5 is just about to go live. That's my weekly podcast. And I've really focused on weight loss and well-being. So I've got not one, but 2 guests on my podcast for today. The first one is Dr. Louise Newson. Brilliant. Had a really good chat with her, all about hormones and weight gain. And does HRT make you put on weight? Well, if you want to hear the absolute truth, take a listen to that. And my other guest in today's podcast is Michael Gary, who is the exercise trainer that guides us here at Earle Wellbeing. We use him and his knowledge, and he's contributed to the magazine and online articles and all of that. And my e-guide, which is called A Stronger, Slimmer You, that was produced alongside Michael Gary. So he talks about what we need to do or not do if we want to lose weight with exercise. So that's a really good listen. So I hope you enjoy that this weekend. And then just to say, if you're watching this in real time, you have until 4 o'clock today to go onto the Earle Wellbeing newsletter mailing list. So the mailing list, Amy, who's my digital editor, she presses that button at 4 o'clock every Friday. So if your name is on the list, you will get it. If you're watching this later, you can still sign up and join the list, but you won't get it until next Friday. And do check your spam folder. A lot of upgrades to email systems now to try and prevent the never-ending stream of junk mail that we're all getting. But it does mean, unfortunately, that it seems to capture some of the non-junk that we do actually want. And my own newsletter ended up in junk. Last week I was thinking, I'm sure Amy should have pressed that button by now. I'm sure I should have got it in my inbox. And sure enough, it was languishing in my junk folder. So do check it out. We put lots of things in there for the weekend, lots of links and recipes and ideas, which will hopefully be cheerful and positive and upbeat and helpful. Anyway, I'll be back with you. In fact, I'm going to be back with you twice on Monday. So I'm going to be doing my live, as usual, my IGTV and my Facebook and my YouTube live. That's at 12:30. But before that, I just heard from my producers on this morning that my little film that I did for them, part of my series At Home at Earle, is going live on Monday morning. So they have actually told me, given me notice, because this week they caught me by surprise. It was supposed to go on Wednesday and it actually went out on Tuesday, which is why I didn't tell anybody, because I didn't know until the last minute. But now I know. Of course, having said that, they'll probably change it now and they'll probably delay it till later in the week. But as far as I know, I will put information on my stories with a time, because obviously it's a long show. If you just want to watch a little segment, I will put the time up. It's usually around 11ish, but with live TV, you never know. Things change. And obviously with today's news, things may indeed change. But as far as I know, that is the current plan. But I will update on my stories. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for being with me. I'm wishing everybody a healthy, happy, calm, positive and peaceful weekend. Sending you lots of love. I'll be back with you Monday. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.